قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم
No, not
يولد
Allahu
ولم-
Samad.
Whatever.
Not whatever.
I don't care about
Come on,
the-
mate, come on.
No. You can't butcher
You
the
know-
Quran. So God is incapable of communicating clearly about himself, even to his prophets.
Stop. No.
It's true.
No, it's not true.
Like,
No,
it's
not
like
true.
a 2-year-old.
Can we put it in a better way?
No, what was my question?
Said, can I put it better than the prophet, so on and so forth? So we have to understand the
No.
Yeah,
Stop.
You're gonna dodge now. You're gonna dodge.
Stop. What is my question that you're trying to answer? Because if I ask you a specific question, I expect you to answer specifically. If I ask you what's your name and you don't say, you in reply you say I live in Brighton. That wasn't what I asked. So I asked you, who would clarify who God is better? Is it God and his messengers and prophets? Or is it the philosophers?
I say it's Jesus. That's what I say.
Okay. Did Moses describe God? Okay. Is the description of God better and more clearer with Moses or the philosophers?
I say it's better with Isaiah than with Moses. That's what I'd say.
I asked you a specific question. Would Moses the prophet explain God better or the philosophers who have no direct revelation?
Well, the thing is, the revelation that Moses has is the revelation that we also have. So when we read it, we're reading the same thing Moses gave us. So when we come to conclusions and entailments, I know you don't like entailments, but when you come to entailments from a text, there's nothing wrong with that. We were given a book of knowledge not to stay stagnant, but to develop in our understanding. And that's the whole point. The Christian revelation from the Judaic laws to Jesus Christ is progressive, it's developing. You guys just have this idea that religion stops at a certain point with this prophet. It stops there. That's not how it works. It develops, man. So it develops. So yeah.
So finish with your introduction. Very good. Now answer the question.
I did.
What was my question?
I answered multiple times.
What was my question? Let's see whether you understood it. Go on, say it again. One more time.
He said Jesus. That was
No, I didn't ask about Moses. I gave, look, madam. I said. Look, I'm just respecting you. Yeah. I said, who would explain God in terms of clarity better? Is it Moses or the philosophers who don't have direct revelation from God? So it was a binary option, either Moses or the philosophers who have no direct revelation from God. That was the question. That was the question. So now, answer that question.
Okay, first, what is clarity, Mansur? Oh, he's asking me to tell me which ones I've got more clarity. What is clarity? Let's start there. Define the term you're using. Explain to me, what do you mean by clarity?
You don't know what clarity is?
I'm done, I'm Majnoon.
Okay, then you, next. Who's next?
He's running. He can't define his words. He wants to use
I'm not going to
terms, he
speak.
can't define.
Why am I going to waste my time with someone who says I am
don't know what
mad?
clarity means.
He said I am Majnoon. Do you know what Majnoon means? What does Majnoon mean? Mad. So only a fool will continue speaking to a Majnoon. Next. Who wants to? Okay, is there anyone else?
He can't define it, he's running.
Is there anyone who can answer this question?
Why are you running?
May I ask you this question?
Why is this guy running? No, don't let him go.
God
He's running.
describes himself who he is. God is in a better position to describe who he is rather than people trying to understand who God is.
That wasn't a question.
Hang on. This is what I am giving you as a prologue. So, when God describes himself through his prophets and messengers, direct revelation to them, and there are people without direct revelation, they're trying to understand who God is. Who would know God better and describe God better with elucidation, with clarity, with clear understanding of who God is as revealed to them? Moses, having revelation from God, or philosophers who speculate without any direct revelation? So this is Moses or philosophers. Who would be able to describe God better?
Did Aquinas have the Bible?
Who would describe God better?
Revelation? Yes, Aquinas did have revelation. In fact, Aquinas' whole thing was reason and revelation. Akal and nakal.
I'm speaking to you
This guy is
because I don't speak to
lying.
mad people.
He is liar.
So we left him because he
In the name of
self.
Jesus, this man is deceived.
Are you
Someone
listening?
free him from the demons inside him that cause him to lie to the general public.
Good, you're just
Amen.
describing yourself. Good.
That's
good.
okay, brother.
Continue.
So, my friend, Because someone...
Say Moses.
Thank you very much. Why do you say that?
Because Moses has had an encounter with God. Good.
Direct revelation. Someone who receives information about God from God himself would describe God in a better, clearer way than someone who doesn't have it. So we agree. We agree. So now, in the scriptures, God describes that he hears and he sees. This is how his prophets and messengers, whether it's the Bible, the Jewish, the Christian, or the Quran, describes God like that. We see the opposite from philosophically minded people who reject direct revelation from God, what God has to say about himself, and claim that God doesn't hear, God doesn't see. So, if God says God hears and sees, would you accept that?
God says God hears and sees. Well, I said that God does hear and see.
No, if God says, I have ears that I hear with, and I have eyes that I see with, would you accept that from God?
I would assume he's talking metaphorically.
Why?
Good brother.
Right.
God is invisible, that's
Why?
I would
God
assume,
doesn't have
yeah,
parts.
he wouldn't have our ears. He would be God.
Did God says your ears?
No, he just wouldn't have. He wouldn't have ears.
Hang on.
So what is?
Let me try to understand something. Did God describe himself? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
So if God described himself in a way he says, there is nothing like me. So now you get a principle, which is the principle of
Made it up again.
God in the scriptures. God in the scriptures, he says, there is nothing like me. There's nothing like me. There are many passages there in the book of Isaiah and various other places. If God gives you a principle, there's nothing like God, and yet he says, I hear, I listen, I see. Would you not accept God as what he's saying about himself?
I would assume that he means that he does do these things, but not in the same way that we do it. Yeah, but he does.
Who is assuming the same way we are doing? Because God is already saying, there's nothing like me. I am not like a human. God is not like a man or a son of man. God is not like a man that he should do this, or a son of man that he should do that.
He
He
does hear.
Hold on. What he said is God is not the son of man that he should lie. So don't twist that verse. He said he's not the son of that he
I
should
didn't
lie.
quote a verse. I didn't say I quote a verse.
You did.
I said this or that, right? Yep. So, do you believe God hears?
Yes.
Ask him, does he believe that?
Yeah, I believe, and I'll make clear one more time, when we say God hears and sees, this is an analogical predication. So it means there is some conceptual similarity in that God perceives the world and we perceive the world. Is it univocal? No. Is it equivocal? No. Somewhere in the middle, but we just understand that God perceives and we perceive. Those statements are true. The mode in which God perceives is entirely distinct from us, because like you asked earlier, does God know himself? Well, yes, God does know himself, and that's how he knows all things, because God is the causer of all things. So he knows all things through being the cause of that, and he knows that by knowing himself. So Mansur doesn't know metaphysics, so he just yapping about things he doesn't actually understand.
What's your name, my friend?
George.
George? So the question you asked him, does God... What did you ask him?
Listen and
Right. And what did you understand from his response?
that God.
I agree with you. It was confusing. Yeah, give him one more chance.
God is not dependent through other objects. God is self-sufficient. So God does all things through himself. Unlike Mansur, who believes God does things through external actions, whatever you believe. So the point is that
Don't strawman me. I haven't spoken about my God yet. Don't act like a child. Don't say shush. Don't say shush. But don't say shush though. No wonder people, he self-described as a madman. No wonder.
And when I tell him to be quiet, he gets mad. Good job.
So George, listen.
Thank you. I think you have to. So we perceive God perceives. We don't analyze it. God doesn't do himself. We do it. No, you're lying. You're just we do it to composite means to be dependent on our No. God is independent on anything. He does all things through himself, and he is pure act, he is pure being. So God, when he creates things, he's willing his being, he's spending it on things. And so that's how he knows things, by being a cause of things.
You want to bring your camera over there?
Need any kind of means.
Because I want to use the umbrella against other cameras, right? The cameras which are trying to somehow, have views just with Mansur name on it. Right. So George. Oh, 2 cameras. Okay, I'll do this then. Can someone come in front of this camera? That's good, and I'll do that one. So George, what did you hear? What was his response?
God doesn't need any kind of physical form to hear, to see, because God is pure, like pure being. He can kind of, he doesn't need any created objects to know what's going on, to perceive, to hear.
When did we even talk about God needing something? I asked you, does God hear? You said yes. Does he believe in that?
Mansur, can I ask you a question?
From what you understood from his question, does God hear?
Yes. God perceives the world.
Right. No, not perceive. Does God hear?
Yes, God hears.
Okay.
Not in a humanly way.
So does God see?
Yes.
Not in a humanly way, once again.
Do we believe God hears and sees in a human way? The answer is no.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I'm saying no to him. He says yes,
He
you
does,
do.
and I'll prove it. Okay, Mansur, you don't believe in divine simplicity, right?
Wait.
You deny that, right?
Do God hear and see like humans do? The answer is no.
Good job.
Right. This is the Islamic position. In Islam, we believe in God as God describes himself.
We're two.
Do you agree with that principle? This is the best principle to have. God needs to be understood in the way God describes himself.
That's a claim. You don't have to listen to that.
Do you agree?
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Good. Christians believe that God needs to be understood not as the way he described himself. So if I were to say, what is the difference between, let me clarify. What is the difference between God's hearing and God's seeing? Do you know?
Why are you lying?
Okay, is it the same?
Why are you lying?
I have no idea what it's like.
Mansur,
Hang on, no.
Speaking to a Christian.
Let me ask you again. George.
Look how he's doing it. Just
Is
listen to
God's
me.
hearing
He's trying to pick
and God's seeing mean the same thing?
Mansur, what?
I don't know what it's
When
like.
you read the Bible, when you read the Bible and God says, I hear with my ears, I'm paraphrasing, and I see with my eyes. Does hearing and seeing, eyes and ears mean the same thing to you, George?
Not to me, but
Good.
But to God, it could be.
So are you saying God is incapable of communicating to you about his reality?
God is incapable of communicating to me what it's like. I would say God can't communicate what it's like for him.
So God fails to communicate to you about his reality.
Because of my limitations, not because of his.
No.
I can't.
You're saying you believe in an all-powerful God who fails to communicate to you in a way that you can understand him.
Yes.
So you don't believe in a God who is able. You believe in an unable God.
Mansur, stop trying to
So
pick
now,
on this guy and talk
George,
Stop this. Talk to
do
me.
you really mean that?
Big man, talk to me.
I just can't understand what it's like.
No.
God's doing.
You just said God is a failure in communication.
He's running.
You just said that. God fails to communicate to people,
failed to make you?
explain to people who he
Did
is.
God fail to
Did you just say
create
that?
It's just like a kid.
You are standing
If you have
here
a
because
child,
of God
a little
today.
toddler, and I talk to the child with like my adult language, the child wouldn't
Did God
understand.
fail to make you?
Is God able to communicate to you?
Yes, but I can't understand.
No, is God able to communicate to you about himself that you are able to understand?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Right.
He's able, but I don't.
Wait.
I don't get it.
Slow down, George. If God is able to communicate about himself through human language, has he done that in the Bible?
He's done it only in Arabic language.
No.
Quran.
Has God, has he been able to communicate himself about himself in the Bible in a way that you can understand him? The way he intended.
Like to a child.
No. The way he wants you to understand him.
Bible is written for the whole world.
No, but brother,
Not just like Quran.
George,
Bible is written for
is
the whole
God or has God
for the Jews
been
and for
able
the
to
Gentiles like you.
communicate about himself so that you can understand him as he wants?
As he wants, yes. Yeah.
Good.
But I can't
So
understand.
Arabic.
No, as he wants.
understands Arabic?
Right.
Not
So
even-
when God says he hears and he sees, has he been able to explain that to you in the language that he created for you, the language that you are speaking now?
assumption that it's to be
I
taken literally.
understand.
An
I
assumption.
understand what he means, but I don't know what he means in himself. For that.
Hang on. So God spoke to you in the language and he's able to communicate that to you, and you still fail to understand him.
Mansur, talk to me.
Is there anyone who has been able to understand God in the way God wanted people to understand him? Is there, George,
Howard, Mansur.
George,
Big man
has
thing.
there been anyone
Howard.
in the biblical tradition, Judeo-Christian tradition, that has understood God, the God
Yahweh,
wanted
Yahweh.
to be understood in that way?
That God is only Yahweh, not Allah.
Augustine. I can keep listing names of people who understood it this way.
Sorry.
Yeah, I would say some people
George,
to understanding
George,
yes,
hang on.
like Thomas Aquinas.
Did Moses, the prophet, upon him be peace, did he understand God in the way, I'm not speaking to you, don't you realize? Because you said you are dumb by your own admission,
I'm running,
and you said you are Majnoon, meaning someone who's mad. I don't speak to mad people.
He's running.
Because only a mad person speaks to a mad. So George, I really applaud you for having a discussion with me and not describing yourself as a mad person. So, did Moses the prophet understand God in the way God wanted him to understand?
Where is he? Why is he hiding?
Right. So when God spoke to Moses saying, okay, look, you can't see me and live. I'm paraphrasing, I'll give you the verse in Exodus. But this is the rock that I'm placing. I'm going to put my hand over my face, and when I'm passing by, of course you won't see my face, but you'll see my back parts. So when God describes himself, did Moses understand what God described him?
We answered this last week, Mansur. You're dishonest.
Do you think Moses understood it?
No, he's
Or was that a failure in communication?
There's always a failure in communication.
So in this case, was Moses someone who failed to understand, or did God fail to communicate to Moses?
Moses failed to understand.
So God was incapable of communicating to his prophet.
But yes, yeah.
So God is incapable of communicating clearly about himself, even to his prophets.
No.
It's true.
No, it's not true.
Like
No,
it's
not
like
true.
a 2-year-old. You
No.
can't communicate to
No,
a
no.
2-year-old.
So basically, God, the creator of all languages, he failed to communicate about himself, even the language he created for people to understand. So God failed to do so. Do you know what we believe as Muslims? What do we believe?
We don't believe that as
Hang
Christians.
on.
He's wrong.
As Muslims, what do we say about
Look how
God?
dishonest he is.
Brother.
He knows we don't believe that.
What we say about God is that whatever he says
Oh,
about
since you're
himself
jumping in, I want to jump in.
is the best possible way, is the best possible explanation.
Yeah, I agree
Right?
with that.
So when you
God has a
say
shin.
that,
God has a shin.
excuse me,
You
have
jumped
some
in, I
manners,
can
have
jump
some
in.
manners.
No, he ran away from me.
I'm not him.
Yeah, he ran away
I'm
from
not
me.
him.
If you want
and
to
he's
jump
not
in on
me.
him, and you guys know he's an easy target,
I'm not him,
pick
he's
on
not
me.
So
Pick
just
on me.
calm
Stop
down.
picking on him.
Calm down,
Pick
my
on
friend.
me.
Can you let him talk,
please?
I know you're
Oh, but he
21,
ran
but-
from me though.
Carry on.
Cowardice.
Self-described Majnoon.
When you say
Coward.
that
You're a coward, Mansur.
self-described Majnoon,
Coward.
when you say that God
How old are you, Mansur?
hasn't given human beings the
Old enough to be your
means of
father.
being able.
No, you're not. My dad's 75.
When you say that God gave human beings
Barakallah.
the ability to be able to think at the abstract level, right?
Yeah.
That we have language,
Yeah.
and yet you're saying that God, when He communicated to us, didn't communicate to us, or rather, didn't provide us with an adequate way of communicating His nature. Does that make sense to you? Why would the Creator of all things create human beings who can think at the abstract level, and not be able to communicate to those human beings with a clarity
Yeah, brother, you're wrong about that.
regarding his existence, his nature?
You're wrong.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, because we're fallen, right? We can't think in a purely perfect way. Like our brains are
So
basically.
do you think
we
we've fallen
have
so
to-
much that when God says through Moses that He sees, that we as human beings, we've fallen so much that we don't understand the language God sees? I mean, I see a disconnect there. Just explain to me how it's possible that we've
Why are you
fallen
guys
so
talking
much
to this guy? He's
that
a
the
jahil.
very simple language that God uses to communicate through Moses that He sees means that He doesn't. It doesn't really mean He sees. It means something else.
It's an actual tragedy.
All right. No, I agree that he sees, but I just don't know what it's like for God to see, right? And we can't grasp what it's like for God. So basically, we can't just say what God says,
Exactly,
take it exactly
exactly.
literally, because it's describing
Exactly. So
God's
this is what Mansur was saying to you. He was literally taking a verse from the Quran and sort of expounding upon that.
Who Allah
And that
was
verse
praying
is
to.
very simple. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ.
He's unlike all things.
There is nothing like unto him.
Yeah.
Read chapter 112 of the Quran, Surah Al-Ikhlas.
قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد
No,
ولم
not
يولد
Allahu
ولم-
Samad.
Whatever.
Not whatever.
I don't care about
Come on,
the.
mate, come on.
No. You can't butcher the Quran.
You can't now back away.
We
Come
have
on.
already
Recite
butchered
it properly.
it.
All right.
Butchered
قل
in
هو
the name
الله
of
أحد
Jesus.
Qul huwa Allah.
هو أحد
Yes.
الله الصمد.
No.
I don't know.
Go
Okay.
home and learn before you come
Do you want to
here.
debate me now then?
No.
What do you want to debate?
Leave
I
the
wanna
debate to
debate
the
your
side.
key versus my
So,
key versus.
George,
Yeah.
You're timelessness.
Yeah.
You advocate for timelessness?
What's
Are
timeless?
you a divine simplicity?
Absolutely.
You're divine simplicity.
Yeah. I want to debate it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
George, take care.
George, look after yourself.
Let's go.
Take
Have
care.
a good one. Listen, George, if you want, I can talk to you.
Stay away from the shade.
Stay away from the Shaitan and the messenger of Shaitan, Muhammad.
Right. So this is now going
he's
to
running
be
again.
wrapping up.
He's running again.
So what have you learned today? Christians
Mansur
in
doesn't
the
know
park-
anything about philosophy and he lies on the Christian faith.
Christians in the park,
Continuously lies.
they
every
want
single
to
time he's
make
come
a
here.
God
He doesn't. He's never read
according to
Aquinas,
their own
he's never read
speculative
Augustine,
understanding.
he's never read any actual Christian philosophy.
Do you mind?
I don't mind.
Do you mind?
I don't mind.
Okay.
He doesn't understand wisdom.
Let's have a go over there and I'll talk. Right.
To Israel to speak to
Okay,
me.
it's okay. Okay, let's go. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah. So what we have learned,
Brother, apologist is running away.
okay, let's go over there. Let's come.
Ugly like
Yeah, yeah.
Muhammad. I'm ugly like Muhammad. I'm ugly.
Okay.
I'm ugly like Muhammad.
Okay. Anyway. So as I was saying, we learned today there are people who are young in their age, and not only because of the age that is an issue, clearly, they have so much zeal and passion. Excuse me, why are you recording me? No, I don't want you to. Because you're an underage kid, remember? When you finish your GCSEs, over 18, then come back and we talk. Because otherwise, you may be called that people are grooming you. We don't want to groom you to be groomed, right? So, save yourself. No. Don't be groomed. Okay, take care.
This is
Right.
not his place. This is not
Right.
his place.
So,
Nobody
people with their being underage, there's a zeal and passion. And with this zeal and passion, they try to understand God, not in the way God wants him to be understood.
Ugly like Muhammad.
Not in the way that God describes himself as he is, but in the way they think it's fit. So no wonder people make God as now, they don't call God as a father anymore, according to the Christians. We don't say that. We don't say God is a father and a mother, but some Bibles are making God as a father, mother, or something along this line, neutral term, because they think it's sexist to say God has a son, right? They will call it something different. They keep on changing God based on the circumstances of what? Circumstances of their feelings and the lobbyings of certain groups and so on. So we just demonstrated Christianity is a failure in understanding who real God is, because they disregard the scripture that was sent from God and what God tells them about himself there. They don't believe in it. And that's why these two guys, they came along, they started arguing with each other. Like, oh, no, yes, no. That's what they're saying when it comes to God. And what we've established is they believe in a God who is incapable of, miserably incapable of communicating to human beings who he is. God is a failure. God is unable, according to these Christians, to tell us who he is. To them, God is somehow not powerful enough, able enough. God is not wise enough to communicate to people who God is. And you heard that. It was on black and white text. This guy just said so. Yep. If you are someone in this kind of shoes, like a Christian, ask yourself this question. That doesn't sound reasonable. This is the reason why God sent prophets and messengers, so that we don't fall into this kind of speculative understanding of who God is, but we rather submit and surrender to God himself when it comes to knowing who God is. So this person who is so adamant to speak to me, he left without speaking. Why? Because he described himself as dumb and majnoon. Why would we want to have a discussion with someone who's a majnoon, self-described majnoon? So Muslims, take care. This guy over there, he says he's majnoon and he's dumb. Don't waste your time with mad people who themselves says I am mad. Alhamdulillah for Islam, that Allah has given us clarity of thought and critical thinking, that we can assess and reject false religions and ideologies and false beliefs, like we have just shown an example of earlier on, and demonstrating the Islamic position, how Islam is divinely revealed ideology, religion, way of life, because this is the way that we should understand God. آخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.